Okay, I'm Kwame Shakur. I'm from Indianapolis, originally born and raised here. The main organization that I'm about to start right now, it's coming from the Ferguson situation that I've been working with Vita Washington Sterling Abu Sali, that's out in Sterling's auntie. I've met her back in October last year. We was up in Chicago standing up against police brutality and terror on October 22nd. It's the National Day of Protest. If people out here this October 22nd coming up, come out here and support these movements, stand with these families, stand against police terror, brutality, because it's necessary. But when I met her last year, we was in a formation of trying to come together on certain different things. So working with the Stolen Lives family was a real important thing to me because they're killing black and brown people every single day. We see this as slow genocide coming from this new Jim Crow policy that's been enacted on our community ever since the 60s. It's a repackaging, like this Sister Doris said in here today. It's a repackaging from the slave patrols to the police patrols today. But it's done in a sophisticated way, a sophisticated manner. And it's all because they tried to prevent a civil rights, a black liberation movement from rising again. This is what Michelle Alexander was talking about in her book, The New Jim Crow. You know, so it's to prevent. It's a backlash against the 60s to prevent a 60s moment. But what they failed to recognize is that when you start to police our community and be more of a aggressive occupying force in our community, we was going to have these different confrontation and exchanges with you that eventually we was going to be getting killed by y'all on a higher level. And eventually we was going to wake up and start to see that this is not something that is abnormal. It's actually how the system works. You dig what I'm saying? And that's the one of the most integral things that a person should take away from that book. But me and Vita, when we was down at Ferguson just this past a couple weeks ago, standing with Mike Brown. You know, that Mike Brown situation that happened down there, that was like the start of the movement that we seeing around the Stolen Lives family. But when we went down there, we realized like 5 years later, where are we at today? You know, I seen one report says 5,000 people 5,000 plus people has been killed by the police since then. It's not ending. So we have to have a new strategy, a new national strategy going forward. So when me and Vita was down there in Ferguson, we came together and we decided that we're going to start an organization called Real Emancipation Means Revolution. And what that means is that we're going to start to realize that ever since the time of slavery, we talked about emancipation. We talk about this white supremacist, and he was a white supremacist. Abraham Lincoln was a white supremacist. I hate when I hear any of these lukewarm politicians and fake ass leaders out here talking about this dude like he really stood for us. Well, read some of his speeches. This is the same person said, I would never allow a black person sit on a jury and convict a white person. I will never allow intermarriage between blacks and whites to occur. You dig what I'm saying? That's something that Donald Trump was probably say. You dig what I'm saying? Let's call it for what it's worth. But a lot of these leaders out here, these lukewarm leaders, they betrayed us. They compromised. That's what they're doing. They compromise. But us and this organization that I'm putting together with Vita and some of these other, I just talked to Derek with this organization right here. He's going to be one that's going to unite with our organization. And I'm glad that I've ran into this brother. I met him the first time down when we was protesting the homeless situation down there. And we was speaking to the city council building when the community came out in large numbers and spoke truth to power. We told them in their face and didn't flinch one bit that this right here, this situation y'all doing against the homelessness. Well, let's look at Honduras when y'all just put this fascists out in power down there under the Obama and Clinton administration. Okay, a lot of people don't realize that. And all these immigrants that's coming up here, leaving this Honduras and these Central American communities, states and countries, because y'all put a lot of fascists in there. Y'all been messing with those countries' politics for over 100 years. You dig what I'm saying? But you're going to talk about some homelessness? You created a whole homeless nation. You dig what I'm saying? So when we went out there and spoke to city, county, we spoke truth to power. But we need to start doing that more here. So I'm glad I came out here and heard Doris speak, Derek speak, because I see that we have real revolutionaries that's here in Indianapolis that's committed to standing with people in these communities in Indianapolis and addressing these problems head on in a revolutionary way. in a revolutionary way. Okay, the best way as of right now, as I formulate the organization and get everything set up, Facebook is probably the best way to reach me. My government name on my Facebook is Dayon, Dayon, last name Miller, parentheses Kwame. You know, and you contact me, a friend request me, send me a text or inbox me on Messenger, and I'm willing to work with any organization that's about standing up with the community and addressing these issues dealing with police brutality and terror. That's my main focus, but at the end of the day, it's not limited to that. If we don't start to talk about uniting different organizations that's fighting different struggles, like the women's liberation movement, you dig what I'm saying, dealing with abortion. They need to be united with the stolen lives movement. You dig what I'm saying? The individuals out here talking about the immigrants that's being put in these concentration camps. We need to unite with those movements. The women's liberation movement, the stolen lives movement, and the immigrant, the ones that's addressing this immigrant situation. We all need to be united because we're going against the same fascist regime. You dig what I'm saying? Climate change. This is one of the major problems a lot of people don't talk about. 12 years, they predict that we're not going to be able to reverse what climate change has done to this globe. We're one species. But we allow these capitalist imperialists to go on so long, burning down these rainforests. We allow these imperialists, these wars of imperialists, to bomb all these countries, using all these fossil fuels, and also displacing millions of people. Millions, it's like 65 million refugees around the world. This is the reason why this fascist movement is developing in all these countries, because people are fleeing their countries, going to other countries, and then these fascists within these right-wing parties are coming to power because they're using this as all the invaders. The invaders are coming in our countries. Well, what did you do to cause all these people to flee their countries to even come over here? Let's talk about that part. You dig what I'm saying? Stop talking about this white supremacy shit, because we tired of hearing this white supremacy shit. You dig what I'm saying? But when they come over here, they are brothers and sisters too. Ain't no aliens, no illegal aliens. If anybody, is the motherfuckers that came over and killed all these Native Americans and took over their land, or went down to Mexico in the Mexican-American War and took their land. You dig what I'm saying? They was the invaders. Let's keep this shit real. You dig what I'm saying? So this is what this free, real emancipation means revolution is about. It's about speaking truth to power. It's about raising the consciousness of the masses, and it's also putting boots on the ground, like this situation right here. Rashad Cunningham means we got to fight back. They killed this brother up in Gary, Indiana last week. A Philandro Castile situation. This dude has a legal permit gun sitting on his lap, and a black police officer. Listen to this. All you reformists out here talking about we need more black police officers. Just because you got a black face don't mean you don't have a white supremacist mind, or you're following white supremacist policies. You dig what I'm saying? This is what this new Jim Crow is about. They're following white supremacist policies. I don't give a fuck if it's all white people, black people in that organization and Hispanic. They're carrying out white supremacist policies, and people need to understand what this new Jim Crow is, because it's a slow genocide on our community. You dig what I'm saying? And if we do not get out here in mass numbers and address this, like when I go up to Chicago, Gary, this weekend, if need be, like I told ones, we coming up there, if we got to shut that motherfucker down, we'll shut that motherfucker down, because at the end of the day, we gonna make them, we the masses, we the majority, not the state. You dig what I'm saying? We know how one thing Martin Luther King, and I wanted to, this goes out to all the people that talks about voting and stuff. You know, all you reformists talk about voting and stuff like that. Well, one thing I learned from Martin Luther King, that you need to take a lesson from the man that got the Voting Rights Act passed. What was he still doing? What was his main political power? It was boots on the ground. That's real political power. When you out mass mobilizing like the Poor People's Campaign that he was trying to do at that time, he showed us that the voting, even though he was a radical democratic socialist and stuff, and I disagree with some of his political lines, but, well, a lot of his political lines, but I think he did a lot for us at that time. So I always salute Martin Luther King, but I'm more of a student of the Black Panthers, Fred Hampton. You dig what I'm saying? Where when we out here in mass numbers, and we put political pressure to bear, we'll realize where true power come. It don't come from voting in one of these politicians that's gonna lie to you and sell you out. You dig what I'm saying? It's about putting boots on the ground, organizing the masses, and waking up their consciousness and showing that this system is illegitimate at the end of the day. And we don't need to be legitimize this system by coming out here thinking these politicians is gonna save us. You dig what I'm saying? We the people gotta fight for humanity. Humanity first, not America first, not Great Britain first, not South America first, not Iraq first. They're pitting all of us against each other. We need to unite as a whole. This is an international proletarian movement that we're building right now. You dig what I'm saying? And this is what this real emancipation means revolution is about. You dig?